I'm gonna give you a little advice. There's a force in the universe that makes things happen. And all you have to do is get in touch with it.
Oh, well, hello, consumer. What's happening in the world? Today's November 29th. My name is Reagan, and here are your past week's headlines. We'll begin with Rolls-Royce, who claims to have built the first electric airplane. Yes, the damn thing runs 556 kilometers per hour or 345 miles per hour. Back in America, large groups of organized crime are working to rob large department stores in San Francisco, Los Angeles, and other western states. Also, Best Buys are getting robbed too, the CEO says. Biden decided to re-elect Jerome Powell for the second term, and multiple people were dead after some nut job drove into a crowd of people at a holiday parade in Wisconsin.
You can see a red SUV speeding by the camera, parade goers screaming. Moments later, police giving chase.
The parade was supposed to be about comfort and joy. He was later sentenced to 5 counts of intentional homicide. The military, who spews enormous amounts of pollution and greenhouse gases, is unfit for climate change. Yes, this report was made known by CNN, in which a senior Pentagon official warned that the U.S. military is not ready, a national security issue that touches nearly every aspect of the Defense Department. Quote, "We are not where we should be, and now is beyond the time when we need to get in front of that challenge." End quote, by the Deputy Defense Secretary Kathleen Hicks, who told CNN. So we can't even power the things that we're going to defend freedom with.
Not me. These things are just lights and clockwork.
Throughout the week, U.S. shows massive military buildup of Russian forces near the Ukrainian border. So maybe we get double or triple screwed, a war in Europe and in the Pacific. It sounds brilliant to me that Xi and Putin would rather coordinate since they both hate our guts. I don't know, just saying. The Biden administration decided to unload 50 million barrels of oil from its reserves to help the economy and rising gas prices. However, this, as large as it may seem, would only power the United States for something like 13 minutes. So much for the 45% reduction of emissions by 2030. This doesn't happen overnight, or 26 cops ago, or even 100 years ago. We just keep kicking the can down the road. I almost forgot to mention that Russia is getting destroyed by COVID as well. Who knows what the Omicron variant is going to do to them. More on that later. Back to America, CVS, Walgreens, and Walmart exacerbated the opioid crisis. Surprise, the jury finds. Turkey's lira, their currency, crashed and inflation has taken hold at 4 times the acceptable rate. Everything is crazy expensive there. World Health Organization warns that 500,000 Europeans could die from COVID by spring. Cases in Denmark are on the rise. At least 45 people died in a Bulgarian bus crash, and the US has lost more lives, or should we say consumers, due to COVID this year than last. Switching gears again, pipelines will be blown up, says Dr. David Suzuki, if leaders don't act on climate change. Quote, "It is now the age of consequences." Critics call this statement dangerous and reckless. What's more dangerous and reckless? Letting our planet go completely to trash or blowing up a few pipelines? One seems much more entertaining. In fact, Dr. David Suzuki didn't attend this year's COP26 conference because, as he told CTV's Your Morning, not only does he not want to fly anymore, but also because it's the 26th conference, he said with some emphasis, quote, "For the first time in 26 meetings, they've got fossil fuels actually in their documents this year, and this is progress?" End quote. I second you, Dr. David Suzuki. So off to space we go to deter other threats. NASA launches a suicide satellite to figure out how to deter a comet. On the other hand, back in Texas, Samsung is building a $17 billion semiconductor plant in Taylor, Texas. Boy, you talk slow. You from Texas? Seemingly unimaginable, unemployment claims seem to have dropped to a 50-year low. Our favorite man, Senator Joe Manchin, is calling to President Biden to restore the Keystone XL pipeline to combat gas prices as they continue to rise. Manchin and Sinema's collusion to derail Joe Biden's agenda have been condemned by anti-corruption watchdogs for also accepting a flood of money from Republican and corporate donors. In some stroke of good news, all 3 men were found guilty of murdering Ahmaud Arbery, and 31 people die crossing the English Channel. Believe they were migrants. The Pacific Northwest is getting hit with back-to-back atmospheric rivers and planning for much devastation there. The Arctic Ocean began warming decades earlier than previously thought, new research shows. And fall colors came late because, you guessed it, climate change. For the first time, women outnumber men in India. And Europe is now the epicenter of the pandemic. On Thanksgiving, 160,000 active duty servicemen suffered food insecurity. We speculate this might be due to, I don't know, insanely high rents, raising costs, and job losses. And of course, the highlight everyone's talking about is the new variant, which emerged from South Africa and is called Omicron.
What is it?
This path will lead you to an unholy place. There the Necronomicon awaits. You must recite the word Klaatu Verata Nictu.
Klaatu Verata Nicto. Okay.
Well, repeat them.
Klaatu Verata Nicto.
Again!
I got it! I know your damn words, all right?
It was also found in Hong Kong, Italy, and Germany, among a few other places, I believe France. Thus, the US is joining other countries in banning travel from 8 countries, including South Africa. And here we go again. We literally knew this was going to happen, and we covered this already. Dr. Fauci, also a Capricorn, thinks that it might be actually here in America already, if it's this transmissible. So let's ride this one out again, and again, and again. 50 people died in a Russian Siberian coal mine, and a bus crash in Mexico killed at least 19. The Dow dropped over 900 points in the worst single-day drop on Friday, and Storm Arwen brought winds of over 90 miles per hour to the northeast England and Scotland. 2 men died so far. Santa Ana winds also battered Southern California, sending them into red flag territory for wildfires. In a stroke of weird, interesting news, lobsters, octopuses, and squids are now recognized as sentient beings in the United Kingdom, because they weren't before. You'll pay 30% more for a sparkly Christmas tree this year. And our last bit of news is Biden is urging oil producers to drill for oil by opening up leases on lands for extraction, because the transition isn't going to happen overnight. Oh, well now, don't you feel all caught up with the world news? This has been what's happening in the world. My name is Reagan. Please thumbs up and subscribe, and consider pitching into my PayPal or Patreon to help keep this program going. Okay? Love you, babes. Have a great week.